How you doing today? Ah, let me put it over here. This might be better. So, it's September. It's a time to remember. Alright, so, let's see. Today, I guess it's not really a question. It's more of like I don't know what you would call this, but I'm not like asking you. Well, technically I am asking, but it's not in the form of like a question. It's in the form of a, like, do this type of thing. So, here it is. Like, I don't know if you've all worked before, or if you've actually had a job, but, you know, we all have our stories within those jobs. And it's always interesting ones. You always get those interesting stories that you could always look back on and you could laugh at and be like, while you're in the moment, you're like, what? It's either what or one of those, I didn't think of it like that. It's either a what? Or this is just funny to me because I could just laugh back at this. I'm already laughing at it now, but it's a story I could laugh at later too. Well, if I'm laughing at it now, then of course I'm going to laugh at it later. So it's those three type of things. And this is kind of like two stories for me. The first one is a mixture of three. There's a mixture of, is like two of the three. And then the next one is, well, you know what? Let me just explain. Let me just say what it is, and then you can tell what it is at that point. So, the first one is, so I was on the job one day. The security guard there, I didn't know if he had just started or if he had been there on a day where I wasn't there. I'd been there for a while already. I rarely ever saw him. So he would probably be going all around LA. So I didn't know. I feel like that was my first time meeting him. And we had an interesting conversation, to say the least. So it started off funny. It was basically, we introduced ourselves, and he basically started off by saying, or didn't start off, but he was saying, you know, certain neighborhoods he couldn't necessarily go in, or that if he went into those neighborhoods, he made sure to bring a spray. What happened was, one of my friends who was the security guard there, or I was cool with him, he got in trouble. He got in trouble with this lady that was in the store. And the lady, they saw him have his gun pulled out. It was out of his holster. And they thought he was going to use it. And he didn't use it. He was trying to protect himself. But the way that they were coming, because they were trying to steal some ham. They went in trying to steal some ham. So, like, what did they expect him to do? But he didn't even start out like that. He went to go confront them about the ham. He kicked them out. And then the lady that had nothing to do with it, she came in trying to confront him, asking, like, why was he accusing her and all this? And she was like, she wasn't even there. She wasn't even there. She just took the side of her friend, who didn't even tell her the full story. She got caught. She was salty. She was pissed off. Told her friend. Her friend went in there and confronted the security guard. And she kind of, like, the way she made it seem, it's like she was trying to threaten him. So she was like, "You better hope my boys don't get you, like, cause I'm gonna bring my boys back, and you gonna have to be gone after that." But then he was like, "All right, you gonna try to threaten my life? I take that as a threat. So I have my thing on me. I make sure that is there." And he ended up being let go because of the whole situation, because he got caught up. So he ended up getting let go. So that's kind of where my conversation with this other security guard went. He went there because he was trying to figure out what happened to the security guard. And this is what the guy told me. And, like, I missed part of it because I was in the store bagging, and the lady was just hounding him, and she was just in his face. Just in his face. There's a word I was thinking of. She trying to emasculate him and just be like, you ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. And he's just like, I'm calm, because it's a lose-lose situation for him. If he tried to do something extra, if he tried to do something more than what he was doing, he was gonna be gone instantly. So he just stayed calm, got her out of there, because she was out of line. She was acting all crazy. She was berating him. She was badgering him. And we had to get her out of there. And then when she left, then that's when, oh wait, no, she was the one that was, she was the friend. The friend came and confronted him. I'm trying to remember the story completely, but her friend got caught stealing. Then she went back to her car, and then she brought her friend to come berate him and hound him for checking her. And I'm just like, if y'all, look, the reason you're kicking up this so much fuss is because y'all got caught. Like, just go. That was the problem, is when people get caught, or they get in trouble, or are they caught in a lie, they want to do whatever they can to make sure people either didn't see them lie, or that they had a situation, or that, nothing ever happened. So we were talking about that. That's how that started out. And then he was like, if he goes into a certain neighborhood, and then this is so the security guard that I was talking to, I don't like bringing race into it, but he was, let's say he was a Hispanic security guard. So the Hispanic security guard, he got caught up because he was being threatened. And then the black security guard. So this is the one I was talking to after. So I talked to him, and he was saying how he can't be in this neighborhood. He, like, if he was in those neighborhoods, he'd make sure that he had it on him, or that he would point it. I'm like, huh? But then after that, some of the stuff he was saying kind of made sense, that he was similar to people that I knew, or people that kind of strayed away. And you'll get what I mean a little later. So we had that talk, and he was like, I don't know much about the rap and all that jazz and how people. So essentially, he was just listing all the stereotypical black stuff. He's like, I'm not really into that. I don't really know slang. I don't really know all of that. And I was just like, that's okay. That's cool. You don't have to. But then we got into a whole argument about dating outside the race. And that made some of my coworkers come outside and see what was going on between us, because we were having a heated discussion, but it wasn't to the point where it was out of control. It was in a controlled manner. We were cool. We were cool, calm, and collected, but it was still a heated conversation. So some people came out, and some of the customers, they heard the conversation. Some people came and they put their 2 cents in. Sometimes you ask for it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes people just give it without asking, but that's besides the point. But it became a huge thing about, because I said I would date outside the race, and he was just like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And then he made this whole big thing about it. Oh my gosh. And I went back to remembering. He compared dating outside the race to pedophilia. And that made me wonder, what? All I was thinking in my mind was, what? How do those two relate? How do they relate at all? He was like, you as a black man deciding to date somebody other than a black woman is similar to a grown man deciding to, are you as a black man being attracted to a woman that is not black, is similar to you, if you were, as a grown man, wanting to be attracted to or wanted to date a teenage boy. And I kept trying to figure out where his thought process was when he said that. He was not giving any good answers. He was not giving any good reasons as to why he would compare the two. All he was saying was that they were both you making a decision, and that they were both considered illegal once. Like his logic didn't make any sense. His theory didn't make any sense. He was just trying to make it seem like, because you have an interest in all women, that you're this evil pig or something like that. And then he didn't hesitate to mention that, like he said, oh well, my wife is black. I've been with her for 10 years, And I was just like, good for you. Good for you. Even though he kind of reminded me, and he kind of sounded like and acted like what they consider somebody who would date outside the race, or what they think, what they assume, the type of man that they would assume would date outside the race. He kind of, what they would assume, he fit it to a T. I'm not saying I assume it, but the characteristics that they use, he had them. So I'm not saying for me, but what is usually said. So I was just like, I'm surprised that you're not doing. I'm surprised that you don't do it. But he said that he was with her for 10 years, and all. And I was just like, you know what? I'm happy for you, and I'm not mad. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't have a problem with me doing, like, choosing to do what I do. Like, you have a choice to do what you do. I have a choice to do what I do. It doesn't make me less black than you, and it doesn't make you more black than me. It doesn't. So we were going back and forth about that. Like, there's no issue with that. And I think there's continues to not be an issue as long as you're not putting down the ladies of your race to bring up the lady of the race that you're actually with, or that you're dating. You know, even though there's a big thing that there's like swirling, and there's it's making the black population kind of dilute. But I know for me, I know I'm going to probably end up, I feel like I'm probably going to end up like marrying, if I do end up getting married, marrying a black woman. But if I'm, if I'm like dating, it's all women. But the thing is, one more thing that he said was that why would you settle for why would you settle for second best when you can have the best? To some people, what they're looking at may be the best. And maybe what you view as the best may be the best for you, and what may be the best, it doesn't have anything to do with race. Sometimes it's about like the person you're talking to. It's like, it's based on like your characteristics, your likes, your dislikes, your views on life, your experiences. A lot of those things. And if it just so happens to match somebody that may not be of your race, then that's okay. If it does, that's great. But you shouldn't be punished because you decide one way or the other. You have the right to make the choice, and shouldn't be shamed if you do make one choice or the other. You could be the type of man that only dates black women. You could be the type of man that dates black women and other women. But the first thing that they think when you don't just date black women, they like, of course, you over here dating white women. It's always white women. If you're not dating black women, you dating white women. It's always one or the other. Like, there's no in between. There is no in between. It's always like they literally treat it like it's literally black and white, black or white. And there's so much in between. Not even, well, that's not really, it's not really in between, because it's not like it's a mixture of those things, but there's other races and ethnicities besides those two. So the fact that we treat them like that's all there is, then that's another problem in itself. But I was just like, I just let him go on about his day because I knew he was stuck in his way of thinking. He may not have actually fully believed what he said, but what he was trying to portray to me, I don't know him, so I'm gonna assume that that's the way that he is. But you know, I have no problem with him, and I wish him all the best. He's cool. I haven't seen him since then, so however life went for him, that's how it went. But there is one more story. This one went on longer than it should have because of the beginning. I was trying to make it a little shorter, but like pieces of the story were coming here, 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 and here. So I was trying to like just be like, put them together and then just and then just put it in the brain. But they were just scattered. But this story is a lot easier to just go straight through. So this was like early this summer. So I was doing my job. I'm outside, cart duty, handling my business, picking up trash on the side, and this lady was sitting on the bench. She was sitting on the bench on her phone. She went to Ross, because we have the Ross I was working at. There's a Ross next door. So she was at Ross first. She went to go buy like a charger, and then she came to the bench. She ripped the plastic and the what is it called, and the paper, the paper casing. She ripped that part off, put it on the floor right next to the trash can, not in the trash can. And people are lazy. But like, I naturally just, anytime I see trash on the side, like right on that sidewalk before you go in the entrance, I pick the trash up on both sides. So I see trash there, pick up trash all over. I saw her trash. I picked it up because it's not supposed to be on the floor. I picked it up, put it in the trash, which she should have done first. And then once I picked it up, put it in the trash, I went on about my business. But no, she came up behind me. She was trying to confront me. She was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "Picking up trash." She said, "No, that's my trash." Lady, you took the stuff off. You're not supposed to leave it on the floor. She said, "When I'm finished with it, when I'm ready to go, I'll put it in the trash. I'll put it in the trash for you. I'll put it in the trash. You had no right to touch my stuff. You had it on the floor. You left it on the floor. For all I know, you could have just walked by and I still would have had to pick the trash up. So I limited the amount of time that it would have been wasted, picked it up. That's my job. So I picked the stuff up. And she over here complaining about a little piece of trash. Like, what are you going to do with the trash? You going to use it? You going to put it in the recycling? Or you going to You gonna use it for like a science fair project or something? Like just like it's not that big a deal. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go see your manager." And then she didn't actually say it, but she went to go talk to my manager. I went to go out to the lot to go pick up baskets. Cause I was just like, it's not that big a deal. Let me go about my business. And then I saw my two bosses coming outside, and she was tearing their ear off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just a little piece of trash. My goodness, you made it even bigger than it was. And you were tearing their ears off. And then I went to them right away. Because I'm like, I'm not getting in trouble for this. I'm not getting in trouble for doing my job. Shit. Said, I'm not getting in trouble for doing my job. Like, what did you want me to do right there? I told them, look, it was just a little piece of trash. And then they said, no, it's all good. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. Then they realized she was the crazy one. So I felt so good right there, because I'm like, it's not just me, right? It's not just me. Like I'm doing my job. So, and then right after they told her to leave, she was berating and shouting at other customers that were walking by. And she was all like, and then they were just like, yeah, lady, yeah, move on, go. And then she took forever to leave. And then I went to talk to the customer that was going to her car. Because she confronted her all the way to her car. And she was like, bye, vamoose, leave. All right, lady, you doing all this? And you like, for what? And then I talked to the customer, and I was just like, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sorry. She was like, I'm sorry for you that you got to deal with people like this all the time. And I was just like, yeah, some of these people are just crazy, you know. And I was just like, for like, why do they, like, for what? But then in my mind, I was just like, while I was like, for what? In my mind, I was also like, she had nothing better to do but to hound and berate everybody in the store. I mean, I guess some people find that as a hobby. It's entertaining for them. They don't make money off of it, but it's fun for them, I guess. These Karens are out of control. And I never thought I would say that, but that was a Karen right there. I was just like, I've had a couple Karens working there. I've dealt with a couple of them, but shoot, usually they would just walk away. They wouldn't just be shouting at everybody around them. Like, oh man. But hey, I'm not working there now. I'm in school, but I probably will be at the end of the year. Probably. I don't know if I will be though, but I always have fond memories there and funny stories. So I might say another funny story in one of these videos, but I just gave you 2 today. So if you've worked, or if you've had a job like that, either customer service, retail, working fast food, or whatever the case is, and you have funny stories to tell, why don't you tell them in the comment section? Or you can send me a video or something like that. That might be a little more difficult, but share a story basically and let me know like your funny story, you know, because I'd like to hear that too. Yeah, you might have funnier stories than me, but you know, these are my stories. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Almost 30 minutes. I want it to be less than 30 minutes. So